Hi, I'm Teresa George with Circle Television, and we're here for a episode of Circle Sessions with Dailey and Vincent. And I'm so glad to have Jamie and Darren here with us tonight. And they've got a special guest with them.
We sure do. We're so happy to be on here tonight. We have my childhood hero, one of the finest singers on this planet, a hit songwriter, and a great, great guy, Mr. Jimmy Fortune, one of the Statler brothers. He's also in the Gospel Music Hall of Fame, the Country Music Hall of Fame, and if he keeps hanging out with us, he'll be on the Wall of Shame before it's over. But we're happy to have Jimmy with us.
Of course, Jamie's my childhood hero. Honored to be here tonight. We really are.
Usually when we sing together and we add Jake Hoot in with us, we sound like a bunch of dog whistles, you know.
And we do. You guys pack this show with so many friends. So we've got Jake Hoot. And Jake, where are you right now?
I'm in sunshine, so I'm super happy to be a part of it.
Well, that's great. We're glad to have you. And then we've got one more guest coming on later, and that's the Lost Saints, who have also been on a show with Dailey and Vincent on an episode of their show. So we've just got a packed time together, and we want to encourage people, send us text in. We've got social media all going, so just give us a shout, let us know your questions, join the chat, and we'll have some fun with it. So I guess my first question is, where are you guys?
We're in Gainesboro, Tennessee. This is my hometown where I grew up, and I still have a place here. And there's a restaurant here in Gainesboro, Tennessee called the Bull and Thistle Restaurant. It's fine dining. It is once again reopening June 5th right here in Gainesboro, Tennessee. My birthday is June 9th, so we're all going to come here and celebrate my birthday on June 5th and have some cake. And I'm looking forward to having everybody here. But we're at the Bull and Thistle Restaurant, and we want people to come down here and enjoy this thing starting in June. Jake's been here before a lot. Darren and Jimmy's been here, and it's always a fun place to eat.
Oh, that sounds good. So what do you order when you go there? What's your favorite thing?
I love the salmon. I love the shepherd's pie, and their desserts are absolutely delicious. They have a great cheese plate. They've got it all. Thank God that you don't need it.
That's right.
Well, last time when we were together, your mom dropped off a chocolate cake. So it's like, hey, where's the chocolate cake in this episode? We need
Jimmy
some
and
food.
Darren ate it before we came in here.
We love chocolate cake. Can you tell?
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, that's funny. Well,
but Teresa, we are so excited to have Jimmy here with us. As I was telling you, Jimmy is a dear friend of Darren and I, and he's become a good friend of Jake Hoot. Jake and Jimmy just wrote a song that we'll let Jimmy and Jake talk about for the tornado victims. That has become a big song and one that gave people a big blessing when they hear it. It's such a wonderful song. Jake, do you want to talk about that, you and Jimbo?
Yeah, so I've been a very big fan of Jimmy Fortune ever since I was a kid too, and I've always said that I wanted to sing like him and meet him and everything else. And I was fortunate enough to meet him over at Peavy's house one afternoon, and just fell in love with the guy and love his songwriting and everything. And so of course the tornadoes devastated Middle Tennessee beginning of March, and I was on my way to a missions trip, and I was sitting in the Nashville airport, and I thought of I saw all these things about Nashville strong, Cookeville strong, all these different things. And I thought, well, I think we should take like a unified front on this and just call it Tennessee strong. So before the plane even took off, I wrote, a little bit of the song and everything. And then I sent it to Peavy and Jimmy in a text before I even flew out. And I said, hey, while I'm gone, would y'all mind, writing this? And so I ended up coming back, and we all got together. And Jimmy, we were sitting there on the couch talking, right, about to write some, and he said, I could tell when you had sent me these lyrics that you put a lot of heart into this, and I couldn't bring myself to write the melody without you being here. And so we sat down and wrote the song. I mean, it seemed like it, we wrote it pretty quick, finished it up, and recorded it that night. And it's just, to me, it's been a blessing just to be a part of it. And, obviously Jimmy sang on it, and then we had Ben Isaac and Sonia Isaac sing on it as well. And it's just been a huge blessing to me and to a lot of other people. And so I'm very grateful to have been able to share that with Jimmy.
Jake, where can they find a song if people want to buy it? Where can they find it?
They can find it on iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify. We did a music video. It's on YouTube. So I'm very, very pleased with the way it turned out.
Jimmy, you like how it turned out?
Oh, absolutely. Of course, I'm a big fan of Jake's anyway. I never dreamed that he even, he was a fan of mine. And then I found that out. And of course, I was thrilled to get to be able to go over and sing on one of his songs, and then to be able to write this. I knew he was a great singer, but I had no idea what a great writer he is. And boy, I mean, he's got it all. He's got the whole package. And if a fight breaks out between me and these guys, you're on my side, Jake. I can tell you that right now.
We wanted to tell Jake that we have just put online to sell tickets for $25 a person to watch Darren Vincent body slam you on the square in Cookeville coming up.
Oh, yeah.
And we're selling tickets right and left. Gonna be fun.
I'm buying a couple of those tickets, front seat passes.
Just have the EMS really near.
We
need it.
We are big fans. We are big fans of Jake, and we're just going to watch his career just skyrocket, man. This guy is the real deal.
Amen.
And we love him with all of our hearts, and we just proud to know him. Really are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to have Jake back a little bit later in the show and have him talk about some of his experiences on The Voice and on being on your show. So we've got a packed little bit of time in front of us. So, Jamie, you were talking about the Statler brothers, and let's talk a little bit about Harold Reed.
Well, Harold Reed and Don, Phil, Jimmy, and Lou are certainly my childhood heroes. The Statler brothers were it for me. That's why I loved country music to begin with, and why I fell in love with country music and wanted to sing the style that I sing. But one of the things that Harold Reed brought to the country music industry is not only the depth of his voice and the songs that he would write, but he brought an entertainment thing to the show, a style that nobody else would do. And I'll let Jimmy talk about that, since Jimmy was with the Statler brothers for 22 years. But that's why one of the reasons I love the Statler brothers was how funny Harold was. And unfortunately, we did lose him recently. And we're still praying for his family and praying for his fellow Statlers and his friends. And he was always so gracious to Darren and I, and was always so loving toward us. And Jimmy, I know that you enjoyed spending all those years on the road with Harold.
Harold was the ultimate entertainer. Whenever you saw the Statler brothers, everybody focused on Harold, because he was the guy that on our TV show and through the years on our road shows, everybody, young and old, wanted to tune in to see what Harold was going to say next or what he was going to do. So he was really the focal point of the Statler brothers, and he will live forever in our hearts and in our minds. I still can't believe he's gone. He was the ultimate entertainer, and I just still, like I said, I still think he's here, because I'll see some of the reruns of the TV show and everything, and it's just like he'll never die. He was just that big of a personality. And so I think really Harold Reed was the Statler brothers. And Don had that great big old voice too, and they both had those big voices that made the sound of the Statler brothers. Phil had the great ear and the great baritone sound that locked everything together. And so it was a team effort with Lou DeWitt. Lou DeWitt passed away back in 1990. He wrote Flowers on the Wall, many of their big hits. And we miss him very much too. But I keep in touch with the guys. Harold had kidney disease for the last couple of years, and Harold was, pretty private about his life, and he didn't really say a lot about it. So it was kind of a surprise to a lot of people, although we knew he was sick. But in the last week, a couple of weeks or so before he died, he really went down pretty fast. And I got to talk to him on the phone quite a bit, and just we laughed and we cried and we ran over old memories and everything, and we just had the best time on the last phone conversation we had. And then I'll cherish that conversation with him. But then his daughters called me, and Will called his son, and said that he was in his last stages. And with this coronavirus stuff going on and everything, of course, a lot of us couldn't be around, and they had the family got together and had a family funeral around the graveside, and it was kind of a small thing, but I did get to attend that, and but with the social distancing and everything, and we didn't really get to spend a lot of time together, but it was almost surreal, like he really wasn't there, but he still lives in our hearts and our minds. He always will. And we will treasure every moment that we ever had with Harold Reed, because he was one of the absolute best there'll ever be.
That, and I will say that we were so blessed. Darren can talk about this, if you will, Darren. We were blessed to sing for the Statler brothers along with Reba McEntire and Don and Harold's sons, Will Reed, who have the group Wilson Fairchild. We all sang a song apiece for the Statler brothers as they went into the Country Music Hall of Fame to get their medallions. And it's a night we will never forget.
That's right, Jamie. We walked out to do our part, and the stage, they were literally within 5 feet of our feet. And to see us, to hear us sing their music and their song in honor of them. And I think the reaction after it was over, they gave us a standing ovation. And just to see them excited about what we sang, and knowing that we were there to honor them on their big day in the Country Music Hall of Fame, it will ever be etched in my heart forever.
It will. And Jimmy is out on his own now, touring. He's doing over 100 dates a year. He's selling out venues most everywhere he goes. He's still writing songs. He's still producing records and singing on his records. He's had Ben Isaacs produce a record on it. You've been very busy with that.
Yeah, he's produced the last 4 records now, I guess I've been on. He's done a great job. But, a lot of great things are happening because of the Statler brothers and the break that they gave me. And also, Dailey and Vincent have done a lot of my songs through the years, and I owe these guys so much. They did a tribute album to the Statler brothers that's second to none. Greatest tribute CD that I think I've ever heard. The only thing is they did it better than us. And I'm still a little bit upset about that, but that's okay.
What was special about that, if I may, Teresa, we cut the song Elizabeth, and we were sitting at home one night. We got a call. Said, Dailey and Vincent, your song Elizabeth has been nominated for a Mainstream Country Music Grammy Award. And you're up against Lady Antebellum, Little Big Town, Zach Brown Band. We knew it was over before it started, but we went on to the Grammys, and that's the year that Lady Antebellum had Need You Now out. They won everything that year. But it was so fun to know that you had a hit on Elizabeth in the early 80s, and then we had a main Grammy nomination on it, in 2010. So that was a really cool story.
Yeah, that song has been a magical song, and it has stood the test of time. But when you all brought it back, that meant so much to us.
Well,
thank you all for doing that. I want to add a little something about Harold. Harold kept his sense of humor right up until he passed away. His daughters were kind of keeping in touch with me, telling me what was going on, and Will was too. And right up until the time the day he died, his hospice was there and everything, and he would kind of come to every now and then and say, "You mean I'm still here? I'm not gone yet?"
Sounds like it.
And I mean, that's just the way he was, right up until the day he died. But he kept a sense of humor, and that's Harold Reed. That's Harold Reed for you right there.
That's amazing. I didn't realize how Jamie and Darren had been so connected at key points in your career, and then how, the Statler brothers helped you guys in a way get a Grammy nomination. That's amazing.
It really came full circle, and we've done some things with the Cash family, John Carter Cash, and we were on tour with them, and George Jones, and I guess it was Gary Morris and Chris Christopherson. We did some of those things with those guys in the arenas, and they wanted us to kind of do the Statler sound, the quartet thing, and we did that. It was so fun. It's something we'll never forget.
That's great.
I heard Jamie singing at the Grand Ole Opry with Doyle Lawson. That's when I first heard Jamie singing, and I went to the Grand Ole Opry, sitting in the audience, and I heard him sing, and that I said, I have got to meet this guy. I've got to meet him. I had no idea he even knew who I was. But I did get to meet him. I lined it up to where I got to meet him about a week later at another venue, and got to tell him just how good he sang. And when these two guys got hooked up, of course, he was with Ricky Skaggs, and he was with Darren was with Ricky Skaggs at the time, and he was with Doyle. I had no idea they were getting together actually to form a group. But I said, if these guys get together, you better look out. Some good things are going to happen. They're two of my favorite singers in the whole wide world. I love them so much.
And well, we love you. And then when you get Jay Coot involved with Jimmy and Darren and myself, and we start singing, seriously, all the dogs in America start showing up because it gets higher and higher and higher. All tenors.
Well, and Jimmy, I love the God and Country album that you did, and I tell you, if there's ever a time that album is so needed, it's right now. So, and Memorial Day coming up, it's just a really special album.
Yeah, God and Country, we thought when we were putting it together, if ever our country needs God, we sure do need him now. And boy, I'm so thankful to be able to do what I do for a living. And I'm 65 years old now, and things are just, going great. I just hope everything comes back for everybody. My prayers have been with everybody through all this, and the things that are going on. The future's kind of a little bit unsettled right now. But you know what? I feel like God's got this,
Man.
And he's going to bring us all through it. And we're going to even come out better on the other side of all of it, as long as we put him first. That's the way I feel about it.
Well, that is so well put. I wanted to ask you something. So everybody's been cooped up for a while. And if anybody was cooped up, it's you for 22 years with a bunch of guys on a bus. So I thought you might have some tips for us on being, in close quarters with the same people for a long time.
Well, I was the smallest guy on the bus. I had a little bunk back in the back. It's about 4x4. And I used to go back in there, and when I got on the bus, I'd stay in there pretty much the whole time until they'd say, "Okay, Jimmy, you can come out." That's pretty, no, it was great. Those guys, we had the same background. We grew up in church up in Virginia, had churches, a small town area, and we all had kind of had the same background. And when they took me in as a little brother. And they taught me so much, because I was 26 years old going on 12 when I went with the Statler Brothers. And I mean that with all my heart. I was pretty green in every aspect of it. But they took my strengths, and they would cover up for my weaknesses.
Like Darren does mine.
But they were old movie buffs. They loved old Western movies. They loved every kind of old movie there was. They knew everybody. They were absolutely brilliant. I don't know how else to put it. These guys knew every aspect of the business, and I just sit back in awe a lot of times at the things that they knew and how they knew how to do it. They were always from Virginia. They never had to move to Nashville. They stayed in their hometown, and they accomplished so many things from their hometown, which is unheard of.
It is.
I mean, you almost have to go to Nashville to accomplish anything in country music and today. But they did it all from their home in Stanton, Virginia. A lot to be said for the most awarded act in the history of country music. They won most of those awards before I came along. And so after I came along, I helped them make it 20 more years. And that was what I was thankful to get to do, be with a group like the Statler Brothers. I mean, I have to.
One of the biggest of all time.
I had to pinch myself to really think that it was real. It went by like that. You said it was almost 21 years, but it went by really, really fast.
And now that we've been home so much, Teresa, we've not been on the stage any at all in going on 3 months. And last night I went downstairs to get a drink of water from the refrigerator. I opened up the door, saw the light turn on, and I did a 30-minute show right there in the kitchen.
Son, you are missing it, ain't you?
Son, I'm telling you, I was coming with it right there in the kitchen.
Now that's needing the spotlight, isn't it, Jamie?
Needing the spotlight. I was going to hurry up and get
there
it before
you go.
Jake or Jimmy did. I wasn't going to let them have it.
Well, and Jimmy, what tips have you given them? The Statler Brothers were known as a group for getting along so well all those years. And what tips do you give people like, Jamie and Darren on how to stay together and make it fun and just enjoy it?
Well, Darren, if Jamie borrows a lot of money from Darren, then he's going to have to stay with him before he can get it paid back, for a long, long time. So I would suggest if they, keep on doing that, they'll probably be.
Yeah, if Darren borrows a pair of my underwear, he's got to stay till I get them back. I don't know.
Oh my God.
No,
That's great.
I'm glad this is on the internet.
Jake is not laughing.
No.
Jake is not laughing. He's okay.
he don't have to deal with all this. He's out there in Arizona, right there in the sunshine and everything, having fun. But no, I tell you that.
I'm just wondering who's going to share my pair of underwear.
We think it would be funnier if Darren took them.
I think Jimmy and I could probably get both.
There you go. Both of y'all fit in one.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh,
That's
how
hilarious.
No, but seriously, you know, when you're together as a group in any kind of way, you have to look at those fans. Those fans are a part of your team. They're a part of your life, and if you cater to those fans, this is what I learned with the Statler brothers. The fans are the ones that kind of can cater to what you do, and therefore you cater to them. And as long as you look out for those fans out there, I think
got your back.
They've got your back.
Yeah.
And country music has the most loyal fans in the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And they have stuck with us through thick and thin, through the Statler brother days. They're coming out. They brought their kids and their grandkids out to see us when we were touring years ago. And now I'm seeing their kids and their grandkids, and they're bringing their kids. And so it's kept us going. I mean, that's the whole magical part of it. It's been 18 years. I'm in the 18th year of the Statler brothers' retirement.
Long time.
And I'm still able to go out and make a living. What a blessing, what a blessing. And but being with the group, it's almost like a marriage. I mean, it really is. You got to
dig in.
You got to put up with each other's weaknesses and their faults, and sometimes you try to work through those differences, because not everything's perfect. It's just like in any kind of relationship, but it is a brotherhood that is a true brotherhood, sometimes even more true than blood brotherhood.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what you have to do to make it all work.
That's right. And Teresa, I want to tell you, Jimmy here, before we close out on Jimmy sang on my dad's record called Step Back in Time, sang an a cappella with me and Dad. My dad has got Parkinson's disease, and I produced a record on him, and I'm happy to announce today that he's had top 10 song already on the charts. He's also, his downloads came in at number 3 on Bluegrass Billboard today, and we'll know more next week about the physical copies. But
we want to start a group with him.
Yeah, we did. But Jimmy sang on the
great
acapella with us, and the record's called Step Back in Time. You can go to daileyshop.com to get that, DAILEY, daileyshop.com on Dad's website to get that CD. Jimmy Fortune's on it. Darren Vincent played bass on it, sang baritone on it, plays archtop guitar. We tried to get Jake, but he just cost too much.
He was too busy winning The Voice.
Yeah, he was too busy. He's busy winning awards.
Yeah.
Well, and it's so great just to be able to do something like that with your dad. I'm sure that was really satisfying.
It has been wonderful to watch him enjoy doing it, and he and Jimmy are friends. He and Darren are friends, and it was just so fun to watch him do it. And now Darren's going to hopefully do a record on his mother, and we may package that at some point and call it Dailey and Vincent, the first generation. We don't know.
That'd be cool.
That's great. Well, Jamie and Darren, tell us a little bit about this new season, and then we'll get into a clip that has Jimmy in it, and let him see that.
Well, we were really excited to. RFD was a great home for us for about 3 or 4 seasons, I believe. And we really are appreciative to Patrick and all the team at RFD TV for really helping us start and trying to get our feet for television. And then, of course, the circle started with the Grand Ole Opry Gaylords. And so we went there and was able to write in some new episodes, some new things. We've got a segment called Opry Spotlight, and we talk about our guests at the Opry House. And it's really given us an opportunity to bring in a lot of friends of ours to share the stage with. Jake was one. He just came right off as a win from The Voice. Of course, we've got Jimmy Fortune on the ones before that. A group is going to be coming up talking to us with us next, Lost Saints. They're a new group. So we've been able to open the door with this new Circle Network TV show to a lot of different fans, a lot of different people, and a lot of different kind of music that we like and really endorse and put our stamp on that we think is going to be a big part of country music for years to come.
That's great. Well, let's roll a clip of that and we can see a little bit of it. And then as we're doing that, we know we've got fans who want to chat, so we'll take some of their questions in a moment.
Great. I'm dry.
I am too.
Welcome back to our Opry Circle Spotlight, one of our best friends.
Yeah, they're showing it. They're also making a TV show.
The Gospel Music Hall of Fame, and he's written hit after hit after hit, and he's here to sing a few of them tonight. Jimmy Fortune.
Reliving all the memories, praying you'll come back to me, but knowing in my heart he never will. And tell me that you feel the same way still. Me and Arlington. Me and Arlington.
That should give you a little clip, a little taste of what Dailey and Vincent's show looks like on Circle Network. And we are so glad to have these guys and one of their guests on that show, Jimmy Fortune, to chat with us for a little bit. So, Jimmy, I know that, you spent so much time on the road with the Statlers, but also as a songwriter in your own right. So talk about a little bit about the process of songwriting that you do. And I know, writing the song with Jake, how do you guys do that?
Well, I think sometimes I didn't know that I could write a song until I was with the Statler Brothers. I was playing music 6 nights a week, 4 hours a night. I had a cover band. We played everything from bluegrass to disco to gospel to rock and roll to whatever it was. We had to play it for years and years and years. So I was always learning somebody else's song. After I came with the Statler Brothers, I knew that Lou DeWitt wrote songs like Flowers on the Walls and many other hits. And I thought, well, man, Lou wrote songs. I need to make a place for myself. I didn't want to come in and take someone else's place ever. I just needed to make a place for myself. So I thought, well, I need to write a song. And so actually, you never know what you can do till you try, I guess. But Elizabeth was the first song I ever wrote. I tried to write a song, and Elizabeth was the first song.
Overachiever.
Well,
Wow.
You can only explain that through God things in your life. I mean, God is the only one who can do things like that. But when I look back on it, I said, I was learning so many other people's songs through the years. I had no idea that I was cultivating my own songwriting. And so whenever I sit down to write a song, which I think is true with all songwriters, if your background is in music and you love it so much, and you're even doing other people's songs can teach you how to write your own songs. And so sometimes you don't know what you've got until you try, until you have a reason to do something. And so all of a sudden I had a reason to write songs, and what a platform. I mean, you got one of the best groups in the business at the time, and one of the hottest groups. So I felt like, man, if I wrote the ABCs down on a piece of paper, it'd probably be a hit, But that's kind of how it came about with me, and it's become a spiritual thing with me through the years with my writing. And I write songs about life which is what country music's about. But I also bring a spiritual aspect into it because of my background in gospel music. And I always want my music to be positive and something that can really help someone that may be down in their life, that may need to say, hey, just because I lost a loved one or something really big has happened in my life, I lost a job or something's happened, to give hope to people in my songwriting is what I've tried to concentrate on. And so with that, I think all the things in my past have made me what I am today. And I think that's true with a lot of songwriters. As you go along, you learn and open yourself up spiritually and mentally to be able to write songs that I feel like God wants me to write. And that's kind of my philosophy anyway.
That's beautiful. Well, let's take a look at the clip of you on the Dailey and Vincent show. Give people a taste of it.
Oh, I thank God I'm a native son, but I love this place much as anyone. My soul's going to heaven when they bury me.
You got back in time. So wanted to ask you guys a couple of questions. Darren, I know that you had a graduation recently and for a member of your family.
That's right. Our oldest son, Zachary Vincent, he graduated from Motlow with a 2-year degree. It took him 7 years to do 2 years, but
It took me 12.
Since the COVID-19 came in, they stopped all graduations. And since he worked so hard, Julie, my wife, actually called Jamie and said, would you come over? We're going to have a graduation party. He's going to walk it, and we're going to give him his diploma. And would you be the main speaker? And we had such a great time on Sunday. And in fact, I edited that video down. I'm going to put it on our Facebook and let everybody see what a great speaker that Jamie is and what a great time we had.
It was a train wreck.
It was not. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Well, and we know there are so many graduates who didn't get a proper graduation
Right.
after working so hard. So it's good that you guys were able to do a makeshift celebration for him.
Well, we did our very best. I thought it was a great sentimental value to the Zachary. He'll never forget that the rest of his life, that graduation. And like you just said, there's many people that worked really hard to get their education and didn't get that opportunity to walk that line. And I hate that, but anyway, we want to say congratulations to all the graduates of this year.
Yeah. My granddaughter graduated from Virginia Tech. She had the same thing. She just graduated from Virginia Tech, and I'm so proud of her.
It's awesome.
Cheyenne.
My dad said that he quituated
Graduated.
in the 6th grade.
Oh, no.
And he's still been successful.
Yes, still business, yeah.
Yeah, he got a good diploma, right? Hard knocks. Well, we've got Jake here, and I'm just wondering, while we've got him, why don't we go ahead and talk to him just a little bit?
Yeah.
And because he's been holding his phone up for a little while, so
He has. You know,
we could
Teresa,
talk to him a little bit.
Teresa, I have heard about Jake Hoot for a long time. He was doing shows right here in this very building. He was coming down and singing at the Bull and Thistle here in Gainsboro. I kept hearing the name. You need to hear Jake Hoot because you two sing kind of high and you kind of sing in the same ranges. And I think you love Jake Hoot. I never got to come here and really listen to Jake sing. And then he wound up on The Voice. And I kept hearing everybody around town talk about Jake Hoot. I don't watch a lot of television. But then I was finally able to watch the last couple of shows of The Voice and watch what this young man was doing. And I called Darren. I said, oh, my gosh, this guy is the real deal. He can sing his tail off and play good and, of course, write.
Yep.
And we said, we have got to get him on TV right away, and let's introduce him to anybody we know that could help. And he may not want to use them or he might want to know them, but we'll introduce him to people we know and if it can help. But he is, Jake is special. And one of the things we wanted to see happen right off the bat is Jake play the Grand Ole Opry. And the Opry was one step or two ahead of Darren and I even, because when I called the Opry and said, hey, we really want to see Jake on the Opry, they said, we're already ahead of you. We are working on that, and we want to make sure that both of you there, Dailey and Vincent and Jake Hoot at the Opry, the same time, the same night. So we got to watch Jake walk through the back door of the Grand Ole Opry where the artists come in, and we got to watch him with the cameras around him walk through the Opry. His first time to perform. And then we stayed back. They said, go out there with him on stage as he toured. I said, no, this is Jake's moment. Let him walk out there on the circle by himself before the audience arrives. We got to watch him do that. We saw how much it touched him. It was just such a fun night to watch him go out on that stage for the first time. And Jake can tell you more about that. And after he sang his segment, and just tore the crowd all to pieces. Standing ovations. The Opry fell in love with him. They saw what we had been singing, what America had been singing, what the world was seeing. He came back out and sang a gospel song with us around the with the quartet called Just As I Am. And it was just a wonderful night we will never forget. Right. But Jake, what did you feel like that first time walking out at our home there at the Grand Ole Opry that you love so much, I know?
Oh, man. You know, first off, I've got to tell y'all thank you so much for helping make that possible. That was my dream stage to play on, you know, ever since I can remember. And walking out on that stage, you know, you hear stories and stuff about it, but until you walk out there for yourself and walk in that circle, there's just no feeling like it. And so it I tell people all the time, like I cried through the first song and messed up the lyrics on the second too. So I had a pretty good batting average my first night out there. You guys were so very generous and invited me back out and gave me an extra song on top of Just As I Am. I was able to come out and play Danny's song before that. And so just an incredibly special night. And I'm so very thankful, for y'all for helping make that possible.
Well, he deserved it.
Absolutely deserved it. Yeah.
Now, what'd you think about the circle, Jake? When you stepped on that circle, what was running through your mind?
Oh, well, I'm all about stories. Like I love, old houses and old antique things because, I always try to envision so many stories, and walking onto that circle and just trying to process the amount of stories that circle has, and that piece of the world, just how many legends and incredible people have walked onto that circle. It was almost too much, and I can remember, crying my eyes out on it, and so it was a very special place.
Yeah, Jake, I don't know if you're like me, but I get so nervous when I'm standing on the stage at the Grand Ole Opry. I'm shaking in my shoes every time I stand there, and I just can't believe that I'm there, even after all these years. It's such a special thing, and boy, I tell you what, we're gonna watch you and your career just grow and grow and grow, and you're gonna do so many great things, and you deserve to be in that circle, my friend.
Absolutely.
You deserve it, buddy.
A real singer. Yeah,
You are.
Thank you so much. One thing good about The Voice is it helped me with my stage presence and helped me with my stage fright. And all the big stages I played, after The Voice leading up to the Opry, I was like, oh man, I'm getting more confident. Like I'm enjoying it. I'm not as nervous. And then it all came crashing down when I stepped out on that stage. And I heard the crowd. I mean, that place really is just an incredible place. And, I'm very, very honored to have ever been asked to play there. And hopefully once all this craziness is over, hopefully I can get back there at some point. But just very thankful for all three of you for everything, and all you mean to me. And so I'm very, very thankful.
Well, we love you. And one thing about it, don't feel bad, because every time after Jimmy plays the Opry, we have to take a mop out there on the floor. He's so nervous.
You got that right.
Jake, one of the things I love about you as a person and as an artist is your talent, ability to sing.
Mm-hmm.
When you sing, you have such a range and power, and you give the song what it needs with your heart and soul, and you deliver the songs. It's just incredible. I loved when you came to our sound check. That was really the first time I seen you sing, and at sound check, and you absolutely stunned me when I was standing there watching you. I could not believe the range you had and the delivery of the songs that you felt. And I know that the people watching, that's what they feel when they hear you sing, is you deliver it because they believe when you say that. And I love what you do as an artist, but I know some things about you in the background. I love your heart for the Lord and all you've done to try to bring people to Christ, Jesus as their Savior. And I love that about you, and keep standing on it, because that's what'll bring you all the way.
You're not only quality talent, but you're quality person.
Absolutely.
That's what we really, really love about you, Jake. You just got a great heart, man. And what you did, with the tornado victims, not a lot of people in your situation would have gone on probably and just tried to focus on your career, whatever. You took the time because you loved and cared about the people who were around you, to sit down and write those words down and want to do something for them. That says a lot about Jake Hoot. That told me a lot about you, that's the main thing as far as I'm concerned, is your big old heart, buddy. Your big old heart.
And every time we're on stage, you're around you, we're always doing this. Hey, Jake, you want to sing?
He's tall. Yeah, he is tall.
You sing higher than I do in every way.
Teresa, we're sorry we just took over there. I'm sorry about that.
No, go ahead. Well, Jake, tell us a little bit about your new single. I know you've got a single out.
Yes, ma'am. I've been very blessed in life to be, to get to meet so many really cool people and just incredible people, and get to co-write some songs. I got to co-write with Jimmy, of course. And Dangerous Thing is a song that we just released, and I was able to write it with Dave Pahanish and Dylan Dixon. Just very, very happy the way it turned out. And, as a songwriter, I think to me, one of the most important things is you write stuff that, is going to touch people. And it's something that people can relate to. But another big thing is when people sing your songs back to you. And so, going around places and people are singing lyrics to my songs and stuff has just been, very, very humbling and very just incredible to witness. And so, Dangerous Thing came out a couple weeks ago, and it's on all the platforms, and very, very happy with the way it turned out.
Well, we'll be sure and get that. Let me ask you this. A lot of people, with everything going on in the world right now, they just feel like they're in a pressure cooker situation. There's so much going on. And I know that on The Voice, that can really feel like a pressure cooker situation. And so, do you have any tips for people who are in that, feeling that pressure? What tips would you give them?
I think the biggest thing is just keep God first. I know right now times are crazy, and, it seems like, not just musicians and whatever, but I think everybody's world's kind of been turned upside down and whatnot. Everything's, changed so quickly and everything's so different, but I think the biggest thing is just keep God first, and all things will pass, and as long as you keep your eyes on God, there's no telling what you could do.
Wow,
That's right.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, we want to show a little clip of you on the Dailey and Vincent show with Jamie and Darren. So, John, let's roll that clip.
This week in the Opry Circle Spotlight, we want to honor the amazing talent you just witnessed.
That's right. Jake Hoop may stand 6'6", but he is one of the most down-to-earth folks we've ever met. As the reigning champion of the NBC's The Voice, Hoot holds the record for the highest charting songs in the show's history, including the #1 song on iTunes overall singles chart and #1 on the country singles chart for his cover, Desperado.
It's cold in this house and I ain't going out to chop wood. I'm better off without you. I'm better off without you. What about it for Jake Hoot?
She's taking this social distancing thing to another
All
level.
right, we're back. That clip was awesome, and we've already gotten some comments from fans saying 3 of the best voices in country music singing on that clip. And we've got people from, gosh, I'm just looking, Chile is tuned in, Alberta, Canada, Oxford, England, Manitoba, Berlin, Germany, Sydney, Australia. So you guys have just got people from all over the world joining to be with us tonight, and no telling what time it is. Sydney, Australia. So it's just amazing the number of people that are tuning in to listen to you guys.
Well, all of us are very thankful. That is for sure.
Thank you so much.
Right. Well, we wanted to just ask you, Jake, you have been, Kelly Clarkson was the only one who turned around for you in the chair when the whole thing started. How was that to know, like, gosh, I only had one person, and then to go on and win the whole thing, I think is pretty amazing. So tell us a little bit about how that felt when that happened.
Absolutely. I kept telling people, I just wanted a chance to step on that stage and give it my best shot. And I kept telling, I don't care if anybody turns or not. I just want to be able to say that I was able to be on that stage and try it out. But then once you get up there and your song starts, you're sitting there going, oh gosh, like I really do hope somebody turns around, But you only sing for a minute and a half during your blind audition, and it seemed like 10 minutes before she turned around. But very, very grateful that she did. And I think every step of the way, every week I had my bag packed. I was ready to go home every week just because I was like, all right, this is my last week. But God had a different plan. And so I'm very thankful that he did it. It completely, changed my life for the better, and, just changed everything. And so it was an incredible experience. I'd do it all over again. I learned so much and got, made so many great friends and whatnot out of it. And so just very, very thankful.
That's amazing. Well, Jamie and Darren, before he heads off into the sunset in Arizona, are there any other questions that you have for him?
Yeah, what'd you eat today when we were talking? He was headed to eat something. What'd you eat?
I ended up, I think it's called Brewster Street or something, I think, here in Flagstaff. And I had 3 brats and some mashed potatoes.
Ooh, son.
Well, I got to know one thing. Have you gone to the Grand Canyon? You're not there far from it.
Not yet. I think we're going to try to go out there tomorrow. I'm out here visiting. Of course, my girlfriend is from out this way, and so we came out to meet her parents. So y'all pray for me. It's been good so far. But no, they're incredible, godly Christian people, and so it's been a great trip. And tomorrow's our last day out here, so we may go out there and see that. We went and stopped by Winslow, Arizona today, and I got to stand by the Jackson Brown and Glenn Fry statues, and I sang a little verse of "Take It Easy" out there, so that was really fun.
That's awesome. Jake, where can people find you? You're on Instagram and Facebook. Can you tell them where to find you?
Yes, sir. I'm on Facebook as Jake Hoot, and then on Instagram as Jake Hoot Music. And I post, covers and updates and all that fun stuff on there all the time. So, but yeah, just all over the place.
Well, we love what you do. We're so excited to see where you go and how you do it. And there's 3 of us here in Gainesboro and Nashville that are here to back you in any way we can. You've got us to lean on if you need us. Be safe.
We love you, brother.
Yes, sir. Love you guys.
Bye.
We'll see you back at the Opry soon.
Yes, sir. Love you guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jake. Well, we've got another clip that we want to show right now of the Lost Saints, another guest on Dailey and Vincent this season. So let's roll that clip, and then we'll have those guys come in and talk to you.
All right. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Derek, Chris, Afton, the Lost Saints.
Guess it's good we don't fight anymore. Ooh, anymore.
All right, Jamie and Darren, tell us who you got with you there.
Well, I don't know if you can see everybody. I think I'm missing Derek. Come around here, Derek. Come around here. We're trying to get everybody. Listen, Teresa. Our piano player, Dailey and Vincent's piano player, who is also his own musician in his own right, who produces records and sings about as good as anybody in town, plays better than anybody in town. Blaine Johnson invited me over to his house. He said, I've got this trio I want you to hear. So I came over. We had some chicken casserole.
Yeah, we did.
And they said, well, we sing a little bit. And so I said, all right, let's hear what you got. So real quick, this is Derek Castile. This is Chris Biano, Afton Addington. And they are the Lost Saints. So these 3 kids here gather around the piano, and I'm eating my chicken casserole. And they start singing. And I about dropped the casserole. And when I drop a casserole, it's important because that boy here loves to eat. I had never heard harmony like that in a long time. And I said, guys, this is something beyond special. I called Darren. I said, you're not going to believe what I've heard. You got to hear these kids. Long story short, I had them come to my house and join Darren and I. And I had a friend of mine, Pete Fisher, and a friend of Darren's, who ran the Grand Ole Opry for years by the name of Pete Fisher, come out to the house and listen to them, along with Stan Barnett from CAA. I said, guys, these kids have got it. They write their own songs. They co-write. They have got that sound. And when Pete and Stan heard them, they were taken aback into the couch. They're like, oh, my God, Jamie, these guys have got it, like what I've been telling you. So they have been working with Pete. He's been trying to help them. We have had them out at the Grand Ole Opry to sing for the office and staff, and those guys love the Lost Saints. We loved them so much that we wanted them to come and be on the Dailey and Vincent television show. And so they came out and sang songs that they've written, and I'll tell you, we're hard-pressed to find young folks like this singing that kind of harmony on pitch with heart, soul, and passion. I'll just say it like it is. People get mad, but it just is what it is. These guys can sing and write and play.
Well, that's amazing. And to have somebody like Darren and Jamie kind of take you under their wing and help you in this business is just so important. So what was that like?
That's been great. Jamie and I and Darren have been friends for a while. I used to work for a concert promotions company, and we used them on several dates and became good friends. And so they've really stepped up and had our backs on a lot of things. We really appreciate it.
Everybody needs a champion in Nashville. Like you need somebody to come alongside you and tell you that what you're doing is actually good. So it's been great to have them kind of like champion us and connect us with people and ultimately help us grow as artists.
It's more than good. It's great.
It's great.
Well, we have good influence.
And I got to tell you, there's one of us in this bunch that's prettier than the other, but I'm not going to tell you which one. Darren, look at me.
It's the other side.
Oh, the other side. Okay. Afton. That is a beautiful name. You're from Texas. You and Chris both are from Texas.
Yeah. So
Texas.
I'm from Houston, and he's from Beaumont. What do you like? What is it?
About an hour away.
Yeah.
So where did you get the name Afton?
So Afton is a river in Scotland, and it was a poem, and then that poem became a song, and that song was a lullaby that my grandma sang to my mom.
Aww.
So she remembered that and named me Afton.
Awesome. Chris, how'd you get your name?
Yeah, me and the 14 other million now, right?
Bathroom truck stop.
I'm sorry, Teresa. We're having a good time with cool spelling.
Yeah, Derek has a cool spelling. Yeah, Derrick, right?
Yeah.
So that's why she's in the band,
Yeah. You guys have a song that's getting ready to release. Can one of you look and tell everybody what this is? This is talk about my favorite song that you all do. It's my favorite song, period.
Well, you wrote it. You talk about it.
Well, we have a new song. It's called "We Don't Fight," and it's sort of it's a heartbreak song. It's a slow 6/8 kind of jam, and sort of a back and forth duo. And it's just about you get tangled up in these relationships a little too long, and one day you wake up and the only thing you can find good out of the relationship is that you don't fight anymore. So that's pretty much.
I thought you was gonna say a salt shaker. That song, "We Don't Fight Anymore," that's the one that they sang in when we were having chicken casserole. They came to my house and sang it. I had tears in my eyes. I mean, like the way they sing, the passion and the heart they have is just, I can't explain it. They just have it. And I really want you folks that are watching to give them a chance. Go and check out the Lost Saints. And how do they find you guys?
At Lost Saints Music.
At
and
Lost
they can
Saints
also see we did it on your show. So
Yep.
that was the first episode that we did with you guys, and so that was a huge honor. By the way, thank you for letting us do that. It comes out June 12th.
Yay.
Our first release.
Yeah.
June 12th. This song is coming
We don't
out.
fight.
We don't fight.
We don't
It's the
fight
first
the Lost
one.
Saints.
Great.
We release more singles every 4 to 6 weeks after that until forever.
Yeah, there it is, forever.
Forever.
So you guys were all different ones. And then we got you on down at the Hiawassee, Georgia Fair to open for,
still on.
yeah, which is still
So
on.
far,
Yes.
It's still on October 14th, opening for Pam Tillis at 2 and 7 p.m. We're still like, please.
Right.
October 14th, Hiawassee, Georgia, you get to sing. So you're still writing, is that right? What are you
Writing all the
working
time, trying to keep growing and being the best version of Lost Saints that we can be. Even during this whole thing, we've really kind of just bound together and said, hey, don't let this stop the creativity, don't let this stop the push. So we're doing stuff like this, a lot of live streams and trying to connect with our fans and just grow our audience and step at a time.
That's
We're
awesome.
excited about the music. We really are.
Derek grew up in Greenville, Tennessee. Is that right?
East Tennessee.
East Tennessee. And you enjoyed being a country boy up there.
Yeah. always something to do.
How can you be a country boy and have hair like that?
Well, Chris
He's got it.
actually cut my hair yesterday.
You're talented.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
We had to clean him up a little bit.
Absolutely.
We need to do a show with Jay Coot, the Lost Saints, Dailey and Vincent, and Jimmy Fortune.
Absolutely.
Would that not be fun?
That'd be awesome.
I think we need to work on that and make that happen.
Let's do it.
Teresa,
Well,
back
that
to you.
sounds great. Well, we've got a clip of "We Don't Fight," so let's watch that, and then give people a little taste of it.
Yay.
Yep.
ladies and gentlemen, this is Derek, Chris, Afton, the Lost Saints.
Guess it's good we don't fight anymore. Ooh, anymore.
That was amazing. Loved
you.
hearing you guys.
Love their
Beautiful.
voices.
Yeah.
You know what, Teresa? Let's talk to the Lost Saints and ask them. Let's find out, how did you guys meet? Afton, go.
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
So Derek moved into the condo that we both stay at. I guess it was like 2 months before I moved in. And Derek, I guess, had been in a trio in the past. So we used to sing around the piano with Blaine and him. And he just, I think, wanted to do a group still. And I hadn't even really thought about music in a long time.
Got his little wheels turned.
Yeah.
Afton is an amazing singer. Derek is an amazing singer.
And you are too.
You put those
Exactly.
guys together.
Yeah. So he knew Chris, and so one day he just asked us to come sing around a piano, and it sounded great, and we got along, and so we just started to work together a little more. And
It took a little pressure on Chris to get him out of the solo gear.
yeah,
Yeah, because you were a solo artist.
he did.
I was
So what was it like to come out of being a solo artist into a trio where you're in a group? How was that for you?
I think there's pros and cons to anything. You know,
Mhm.
solo
Whoa,
artists,
whoa,
you're.
Bro,
And this is where you
Right,
see
right,
it.
right. You know, when you're a soloist, you got to do everything. You know, you're working, you're hustling, you're doing all your stuff, and you're trying to make stuff happen. And I think working with them, the only limit we have is scheduling, right? We have to all get on the same schedule to get everything done.
Yeah.
But there was no question when we sang around the piano that something special happened.
There's no
And I mean,
doubt.
Derek was sneaky about it too. Well, I
Oh,
didn't
he
know. He
was?
showed up. Oh, we're
Hey,
actually
he'll
at
eat your
producer's
chicken
house?
casserole too. He will eat your chicken casserole when you're not looking. Yeah, he's sneaky.
Pull it right out of
Yeah,
your
no,
fridge.
yeah.
Yeah, but it was just, you know, it was so much better than anything that I had tried to do. And they're so talented and they
Yeah.
all have their own skills. And when you put that together, you just, you know, 2 to 10,000.
It was a God thing.
You know?
And there
Yeah.
is something to singing with other people when you do that harmony thing. I mean, it's just so much more fun to me, anyway.
We say that a lot. People always ask about, you know, solo singing versus harmony. And with our quartet, we love to sing against one another. We
Yeah.
call it singing against one another on stage. And it's so fun to do that.
It is.
Yeah.
Nothing
And we
more
all
fun.
kind of grew up learning how to sing in church. So
Right.
we grew up with those harmonies being thrown around everywhere. So I think when we all got together and we had that so much in common, we're like, yeah, you don't sing your part wrong now. I know we just started, but you know.
I want the three of you, we're going to go back to Teresa here in just a second, but I want the three of you to be thinking about, Afton, tell us a funny story on Derek. Derek, you can tell us a funny story on Chris. And Chris, you can tell a funny story on Nathan. I want to know some fun things. We want to hear some fun things about you guys that we think our audience might like. Back to you, Teresa.
I just wanted to ask one quick question. I have loved the cover tunes that you guys are doing on the website and going through those cover tunes. How did you decide to do that, and how did you pick which songs to do?
I don't know. We kind of just really take turns picking what song we do, and
We were also really careful with like releasing music. We waited on that, so that was just a good way to like showcase who we were as a band without releasing our original music yet. So
We've been a band since 2017, so
Right.
we're like toddlers into our band. So that's why we're so
Yeah.
excited for our song to come out. But I think we're all a little different stylistically. So you have Derek, who's very 90s country. I'm in the middle. Afton has a little more pop. And I think that's kind of what
It
makes
works.
it all kind
It
of
works.
work. And
like
so
the Osmonds.
we're always down to find songs that we feel like we can make our own. It could be pop or country or old school gospel or whatever. So we try to find those things where we can put our unique mark on it, whatever that looks like, you know.
yeah.
But we take turns.
Well, now, all right. So now, Teresa, let's ask them.
I don't know.
I know Teresa will love this because we like the same things with this kind of stuff. Tell us about some funny stuff. Anything funny?
Dude, I really,
That's so hard to do.
it's hard because everything's funny. I just don't know if it's funny to like everybody
Exactly.
else, you know?
We're not all Jamie Dailey's.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
Did you guys think of anything?
I mean, you do funny stuff all the time.
No, I knew it would come.
Wow.
That's Derek.
Today
Yeah,
was
we'll give it to
funny.
Derek.
What was funny?
Well, I called you an hour, like 2 hours before we headed up
Oh,
here, and I was
gosh.
like, Afton, I'm about to leave the condo building. Did you have everything you need for tonight? Yeah, I've got it all. I've got it all in my car. I carried it out this morning. So I get everything loaded up. I'm headed over to Chris's house, and my phone rings. I'm on 440 headed that way. Hey, have you left the house yet? No, yeah, I'm on the way there. I'm almost at the exit. Well, I left my shirt hanging on my chair in my kitchen.
Yeah.
So she had to raid Chris's wife's closet before we came up here to do this.
Right, shout out.
Well, and then Chris was driving up here and got pulled over by a state trooper on the way up, Teresa.
Oh.
And the state trooper walked up and said, dude, did you know you're going 80 miles an hour? And Chris says, I've not even been going an hour.
Well, I got to say one thing that I mean, they're wonderful all the way around. But the one thing that stuck out to me, and I think the first time I heard them was backstage at the Grand Ole Opry. You all came backstage, and you all came in one at a time or something. But anyway, when they sang backstage, the one thing that really captivated me was again the way they sang the song that really gripped my heart. But they've got a unique sound because they have dynamics in their voices. They can go big. They can go small, but yet it's still got that intensity that keeps you on the edge of your chair. And that is such a rare thing. People really get out there and just belt it out. Yeah. But to have dynamics that has some kind of a little bit of a roller coaster ride, these guys do it with magical feel and touch. And it's just really something really amazing to watch and feel. It really is.
That's why we hang out with these guys.
You're in high five there.
$10.
I know, I already owe you 10 for
Yeah,
this.
I know. I guess I'll have to pay that speeding ticket.
Well, guys, we've got to wrap up, and I want to ask Jamie and Darren one more quick question before we go, and that was, what was it like to play an empty Opry House a few weeks ago?
Oh, wow.
Boy, what was it like to play? Well, when Darren and I walked in backstage the Opry, normally you see people in the hallways everywhere coming in and out of the dressing rooms, and it was nothing. And actually, Ricky and I walked in together. Skaggs, he showed up at the same time I did, and he was wearing the mask. I was wearing a mask and gloves. They gave him dressing room number 1, put me across the other side in Porter Wagner's dressing room, and put you in Whispering Bill's dressing room. And each of the band members, for safety, had their own dressing room. And so that was just so surreal to me. And then we go out to film and do the show, and there's no audience out there other than the cameraman and the producer and Bobby Bones. And it was so surreal. It almost felt like at first you were walking out to do a sound check because nobody's there. And
that's exactly the way you feel. I felt the whole show was a sound check, except you had thousands and thousands of people watching via TV and the internet. And I remember when I walked in, I was by myself, and I walked out to the stage because I just wanted, when you go there, you want to go out to that circle and that stage. And when I walked out there and just looked, I guess an eerie kind of loneliness hit my heart to think, how many people would want to be here, but yet they're made not to be there. And it was a loneliness. And to know that later on that night, we were going on stage around the world live to everybody. We were not only just singing for Dailey, Vincent, and Ricky Skaggs, we were singing for the entire Grand Ole Opry family and representing them. And it was a huge honor, but it was a really strange feeling.
And we want to encourage everybody, Teresa, that's watching this, please follow the Grand Ole Opry Facebook and Instagram, the social media. And every Saturday night, please go and support and watch this show. The circle will not be, it won't be broken. That's right. And the Opry family will continue, and we will keep the music going. And we want everybody to watch the Grand Ole Opry on Facebook, live stream, Circle All Access. Oh, yeah. Watch it every Saturday night. Now, you can go to the Grand Ole Opry social media, and you can see each week who they're going to be having each weekend. And so we really encourage you to watch those shows because we really know that you're going to enjoy something they bring to you. It's always fun to watch.
And one other person we got to thank is Gus Arundel and Springer Mountain Farms.
Springer Mountain Farms.
They have been, I think everybody's been through a lot of ups and downs, But that company, Springer Mountain Farms, Gus and everybody there, they have really been a blessing to Jamie and I, and not only us, but a lot of country music artists and friends through the Grand Ole Opry. We're all connected together. They usually do Bluegrass Nights at the Ryman, sponsored by Springer Mountain Farms, which is coming up soon. And so we got to say thanks to them guys as well for sticking with all the country music artists as well.
I talked to Gus Arundel last night, and they are working double time trying to keep people fed and keep the chicken out on the shelves and going. They are working around the clock trying to keep the food going, as are many others throughout
Very
America.
important.
But we love Gus Arundel and Springer Mountain Farms chicken, and like Darren says, thank you very much.
Yes.
Well, it sounds like with you eating all that chicken casserole, they got to work double time.
Well, we talked to Blaine Johnson, our piano player. He's the one can make some of the best chicken casserole. We all go over and hang out with he and our friend Bobby Davenport and others, and we gather around the piano and eat and sing and sing. We have a big time.
Hey, Jimmy, come over here
Hey,
and say
Jimmy.
goodbye.
Yeah, come over and say goodbye.
We're going to end this thing. Yeah, jump in here with us.
One more time for Brother Jimmy Fortune back
Lost
here.
Saints.
Afton, Chris, Derek, the Lost Saints, thank you all for being with us, and Jay Coop.
And thank you so much, Teresa.
Love y'all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
It's
you,
been
Teresa.
wonderful. We appreciate you so much. We're so excited about your season on Circle TV with Dailey and Vincent. Lost Saints, thank you. Jimmy, thank you. And Jay Coot. See you guys later.
Bye.
I wanted to hear y'all sing though.